Oh, that would help, Facebook. I had you turn around the other way. Good morning, gang. Welcome to Sunday Morning Live Meds and Powwow Chats. I hope you're all well. I hope you're enjoying your morning, your evening, your afternoon, whatever it is. I just want to see if, is that going to work? Questions from your viewers will be shown here. Okay. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Morning Live Meds and Powwow Chats. For those of you who are joining in, I would like to let you know that after the meditation component today, I'm going to do a Q&A. So you can write your questions beneath the thingy in the comments. Instagrammers, you can write your questions in the comments as well, and at random I will just go ahead and choose to answer one of your questions. And I'd like to continue doing this every Sunday if you're all up for it. I have been, considering how I can connect with you at a level that isn't only me just talking to you, so that it feels like we are having communication together, and that we're having a chat together. So we will end every Sunday with, say, a 5 to 7 minute Q&A. So any questions that you've got going on in your head, we can get them answered. So thank you for joining me. Good morning to Cliff and to Jenny and to Ren. Good morning to my beautiful friend Kat Pola, whose birthday it was on Friday. I love you, my moochie. Good morning to Tan, to Keza. Awesome to have you here, gang. So we'll get started this morning on the topic that I want to share with you. If you're new to Sunday Morning Live Meds and Powwow Chats, I run these every Sunday at 9 a.m. Australia Eastern Standard Time. So thanks for joining on in. So what I want to bring to you today, I did a IGTV video of what I'm going to bring to you today. So I wanted to expand on it basically. And what I talked about was a certain question that I ask myself sort of sporadically when I feel to answer, when I feel to ask this particular question. And, you know, for those of you who do or you don't know me, I have my practices and my tools and my rituals that help me stay connected as a human being, because I think that's one really important thing that as we're on this journey and as we're moving to, wanting to be enlightened or higher conscious, that we stay grounded in ourselves. We stay grounded in our humanness. I don't know if you have ever kind of gone and swung too far to the spiritual plane, but I certainly have, and that got me super lost, in really significant ways. I felt very disconnected to my body. I felt disconnected to earth. I felt disconnected to people, and I almost felt disconnected to just being here on planet Earth. So I have my rituals and practices that help me be a human being. And then also rituals and practices that connect me into my higher self, my higher consciousness and my spirit guides. And yes, I'm down for that. I'm in for that. So I want to share with you a question that does help me connect into higher guidance. And as I said, it's a question that I will ask at random. Sometimes I'll be out walking with Bailey, and usually it's on my own. I'm not with Steve. And I'm out there walking and I feel to ask this question. And the other day I asked it during meditation. So it was a question that basically posed it to the spiritual plane. I imagined that there were my guards and my guides and my guardians that were just waiting there for me to answer my question. And it's a question where I ask, what truth do you know that I am ready to hear? That that my ego might be afraid to hear or is blocking? What truth do you know I am ready to hear? Then my ego may be blocking or not ready to hear. Now, the reason why I ask that is because my higher consciousness, my guides, my guards, the spiritual plane, the energetic field, whatever you choose to call it, they need your permission to tap in or to help you out. They need your open and willingness to share guidance with you. So I do that by saying, "G'day, gang. What truth is good for me? What truth do you know that I'm ready to hear?" So it opens up the portal between the earthly world and the spiritual world. And I'm just this little being there going, "Fucking give me the answers. Provide me the answers, because I'm just afraid." My little ego is afraid. And so if I'm out walking, as I said, I do it when Steve's not there because I want to be in my own space, in my own bubble. And I'll look up and I'll ask a question, and then I'll just close my eyes and I'm just standing there still while Bailey's, chasing the ball or something. And then an answer will come through. Like the other day when I did it, after I did my meditation and my visualization, which I do every morning, which is me tuning into the end vision of what I'm going for and what I would love. This is manifestation. After that, I asked the question, and I was just sitting there and I looked up and I asked, "What truth do you know that I'm ready to hear?" And then I just allowed myself to be open. What I mean by open, you just sit there in stillness and you take some nice clearing breaths and you allow the information to come. And I want to share this with you today because I think it's a really powerful tool, because our egos often believe we're not ready for fucking anything. It's not the right time. We're not ready. We haven't done enough of this. We haven't done enough of that. You're not enough of this, or you're not enough of that, or you're not worthy for this yet, or you're not worthy for that yet. And your ego will sell you a fairly compelling story as to why you aren't ready. Now, there are definite times in life where the timing is not right, and you will feel that. You will feel that. But there are times in your life where the time is ripe and you are ripe for the picking, but you'll sell yourself that you're not ready. So this question is a really powerful neutralizer. It really brings clarity and it brings truth to your life to just give you the guidance that has way higher perspective than your little ego. It has broader perspective, and it has perspective that is for your highest good. So I remember one day I was walking by the beach, and I asked the question, and what truth was I ready? Did my higher consciousness know that I was ready to hear? To write the book, because I had parked that for some time. A vision of the book came, and I'm like, "Oh, fucking shit! Couldn't you give me something else?" And this is where you've got to trust. You've got to trust what you get is true for you. I knew that when it came, I'm like, "Oh, please send me another message. Send me another symbol." But the symbol is what I got. And then it was my duty of care to honor what I was guided to do, and then to go about making this a reality by scheduling in time and showing up to my writing and yada yada, which I have been doing. Then the other day when I asked the question, "What truth do you know that I'm ready to hear that I might not want to hear?" And it was a totally different vibe. It was a totally different energy, which was about, hey, you're cocooning right now. You don't push, you don't rush, you don't shove. You are not in like pow mode. You are in cocoon mode. Let what you're doing right now just be immersed in it and swim in it and bathe in it, and trust when you will know the time will come for you to go boom, for you to come out and play. And I had to trust that, because my ego currently is like, "You're not doing enough. You need to be more social. You need to be more socially active on social media. You need to be doing more of this. You need to be more doing that. Think of a new idea, Kat. And it's been causing dis-ease and stress. So I knew it was time for me to go to higher guidance and ask that question. What do you know that I'm ready to hear? What do you know that I need to hear is even another question you might ask. So these are questions that you can pose to the spiritual plane, which is always at the ready to share information with you. You've just got to ask. You just got to ask. Sometimes it'll intervene when it can see that you're really going to fuck up your life. Or when you have fucked up your life, it's there to go, okay, now we can have a chat to you because I'm sure you might be willing to hear because you weren't willing to hear before. But if you want to be powerful and ask when you don't have to always get fucked up, then you can ask along the way, which is what I do. So I'm going to take this into meditation for you guys today. I want to bring this to you. I want to pose the question to you, and then you ask to your guides and your guards, what truth are you ready to hear? You might want a pen and paper by your side so you can write down the answer. I wrote down my answers. I have pen and papers. You might want to do that for yourself too. So let's take this into meditation now. And as I said at the beginning of today, I'm going to do a Q&A. So anyone who has got questions, people have sent through questions to me prior to the Q&A, and I'll also be answering ones today as well. We'll spend about 5 to 7 minutes at the end of the meditation. So make sure you stay with me and we'll get going. So let me put more music on. Okay, so wherever you are, just closing down your eyes, and remember you can have a pen and paper by your side. Getting yourselves as comfortable as you can, and then just closing down your eyes. Take a nice big breath in, and then out. Big breath in, and then out. Big breath in, and then out. And just breathe at a pace and rhythm that feels good for you. And just notice the sounds that you can hear. Notice the sounds that you can hear. Any smells that you can smell. Any taste that you can taste. And just noticing the temperature of the space that you're in. Noticing the temperature of the space you're in. And just let yourself breathe at that beautiful pace and rhythm, and let your senses be on and turned on and tuned in. And choose the intention now to be of highest service to yourself, highest service to yourself. And together, we ask the question, to the spiritual plane, to our guides, our guardians, whatever you choose to call it, we ask the question, what truth do you know that I am ready to hear? What truth do you know that I am ready to hear? Even though I'm afraid. Even though I might not want to hear it, what truth do you know I am ready to hear? And just hold space for them to answer. You may receive your answer through words, through vision, through images, through feeling. Just fucking trust, man. Trust what you're receiving. Feel free to write this down. And just thank your guides, your guards, and your guardians for showing up for you. And bringing forth truth that is for your highest good. And whatever the answer you receive is now for you to fulfill, to integrate, to implement, to make important. Take some nice big deep breaths in and out. Big deep breaths in and out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Keza says, wow. So superstars, I am going to open this up to question and answer time. If you have any questions for me that is regarding this meditation or this topic that I have brought up, or anything in general, this is your opportunity to ask me a question. SZ at Vic Uni, how do I listen to this from the beginning? As soon as this live is over, this will post onto the Facebook page and you can rewatch it again, plus I upload it to YouTube as well. I also want to share that what I got was immediately, because as I said, when I do it, I get things too. I got an image of my arms being this huge, big Care Bear, and that my 2 stepdaughters were like just sunken into my arms. And the message that I got was bring them close in, hold them tight and hug them. Be their guiding light and be the Auntie Julie. So I had an Auntie Julie when I was growing up who was my saving grace through some really tough times. And it says, be the Auntie Julie to them. And that's what my higher guidance shared for me to now when I finish this, I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to hug the shit out of them and be in the practice of being their guiding light and being the Auntie Julie, the Auntie Cat. Now, some questions that people, I don't know why it's not coming up here. Maybe because I already did it yesterday and it's already more than 24 hours. But a question that someone asked me yesterday was, how do you tell the difference between your ego and your intuition? So an example like that, particularly in that type of meditation, where you're tuning in and you're wanting higher guidance, you're not wanting your ego guidance, there is, how I describe it is that with intuition, it's an unfuckable truth. It's a resounding truth that like hits you in the pits of your stomach, where you know it to be true, but then your ego begins to rationalize. Intuition is fundamentally what the mind apprehends before the ego begins to rationalize. It's what the mind and the heart knows and apprehends before the mind begins rationalizing it. So when I get intuitive guidance, it's got weight to it. It's got truth to it. And I know at the end of the day, what really fucking matters is being a guiding light to these kids and not fucking focusing on inessential crap. So there's weight to intuition. It's a resounding truth that when someone like calls you on your bullshit and you fucking know it, you're like, oh God, damn it. And it's that truth that's unshakable. You can't get rid of it. It won't go. It won't shift away. That's intuition. But it won't go away because it wants to serve your highest good. Whereas ego is more about, you should do this or you should do that. And if you do this, then this will happen. In terms of being very conditionally based. If that was my ego would probably say, work your ass off, hustle, bitch. It's got a different energy to it. So where this can catch people out is they're like, oh fuck, I don't know what's my intuition or my ego, so I'm just going to give up on finding out what the difference is. You do not want to give up on what the difference is. The more you practice tapping into intuition, the more you're going to practice actually bringing it back to life. And so then you're going to start noticing that difference, the very subtle difference between your ego and your intuition, the voice of intuition and the voice of truth, basically. It's the voice of truth. It's the voice that, God damn it, you're like, I know that to be true. And if you go back over your life where you have heard intuition before and you've ignored it, you will have heard it. It's that real, subtle tone that is always out for your highest good. It's got your back. It may share truth that isn't always love and light. It can share truth that totally like reroutes your life, that totally redirects your life. And that's hard to hear. And that's often why the ego will come in and go, no, 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 no. We don't want that. We don't want to hear that. We don't want anything about that. So then it's going to start redirecting you in another way. So, when it comes to intuition, it's so important to stick with it and to stay on the bandwagon and start getting contrast between the two different energy types, the two different voices and the two different tones as to what's there. Usually intuition shares very simple guidance but powerful. The ego can be quite convoluted and it's harsh, or it's going to push you, or it's going to tire you out or burn you out, whereas your intuition has never got that intention for you. As I said, it may share some hard truths. Some of my coaching clients have been shared hard truths about leaving their partners or leaving their husband, and that's a hard truth to hear, because that's then going to cause a cascade of a whole change of life. But because they've been trained in intuition and they know the difference, they know the resonance of truth. There's a resonance to truth and there's a resonance to lies, right? You will know it when someone's talking shit to you. You're like, fucking, come on, man. I know you're lying to me. It's no different, but on the inside, right? It's becoming that detector of, I actually know when I'm lying to myself. I know when I'm bullshitting myself. So think of it as like when you see someone else bullshitting you, or when someone's giving you that hardcore truth, you start applying that to your own inner voices. So someone asked me that question I had questions there, and I was hoping I could just like press this little question button, but it's longer than 24 hours and the story is gone now. So someone also asked me yesterday about when I started meditating, and I started meditating in my very early 20s. It was around when I was recovering from the brain surgery. And they asked me, what I found most challenging about it. And it was exactly this. It was finding challenging a new way forward, trusting a new way forward that kind of didn't make sense. It wasn't logical. It wasn't, it was nonsensical. It was like, fucking what? You're making me imagine something that doesn't exist in my world, and that's going to retrain my brain, and that's going to make me change my whole being, and that's going to change my actions and the way that I fucking go about living my life. The hardest thing that I found about visualization and meditation was trusting a new way forward. I was really scared. My ego was really scared to trust a new way forward because I didn't know what it was going to bring up. I didn't know how it was going to change my life, and god damn, it fucking did. It shifted me from like being in a 6-year relationship to being single. It shifted me from being a registered nurse to now doing what I do now. It shifted me from so many things, from being in chronic pain to being free of pain. And I think the thing with meditation is it can lead to an unknown version of yourself, but a version of yourself is within you and you're capable of bringing it out and creating. So that was the hardest part from me learning meditation. So if anyone has any last questions here, any questions? Pick a question, any question, share a question. Anyone got a question? What I'll do next Saturday is not leave it for 24 hours, so then I can actually do proper answer the Q&As. But if no one else has any questions for now, I shall leave you be to your Sunday or whatever day it is in your part of the world. And I hope you got some goodness out of today's meditation and how to tap in and ask your guides in how to come in to your life. Oh, last question. What if you don't know where to start with the message? So just to be more specific, do you mean like how to enact the message? Do you mean how to fulfill that message? Because if that's the case, if you can just kind of clarify that for me, Keza, if that is the case, then again, that's the ego, right? The ego is immediately come up there where it's like, I don't know where to begin. It's just all too much. It's all fucking hard. And, okay, great. Just checking we're on the right path. I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to do. The beautiful thing is you fucking do. The beautiful thing is you do. You've been gifted this little message of what your next best step is, or what is for your highest good, right? And now it's about sitting in that same energy, being clear with yourself, sitting open, take big clearing deep breaths, and then you again ask yourself, the high wisdom inside of you, the high consciousness inside of you, bring your guards and guardians back in and say, hey, okay, I've been given this message, I've been gifted this message now. How do I go about implementing this in my life? What would be my next obvious step to implement this, to go about making these changes? And so you sit there again and you be willing and open to receive that answer. So I know, bring them close, hold them, hug them, be the guiding light, be the Auntie Julie. I know that my next step is to go straight downstairs and just show them love. That's straight away. But my ego is going to say, oh, but we're hungry and we want to do this and we want to do that, and yada, yada, yada. But it's like, I know exactly what to do. And I swear to God, you know exactly what to do too. This is the ego. So if you see that difference, right? Intuition shares that beautiful, soft message with you. It lands. And then the ego goes, whoa, what do we do? How do we do it? How do we do it? How do we do it? And so as soon as you start going into how and almost like acting as though you don't know what to do, you just catch yourself out and go, hey, Mr. Moo. Sit down, close your eyes, breathe. What's my next best step here? And this is how you teach yourself to be a powerful person. This is how you teach yourself to really be your own guiding light. You teach yourself to be your own guiding light. And someone else asked me a question. This will be the last one in the Q&A about how do you know when to trust yourself, like as in just to trust your own guidance, or when you need to go and see a coach, a mentor, or a spiritual healer. It's the same thing, right? You can take any question inward. You can take any question to your guides, guards, and whatever else, right? I know, I still see people. I will go and see my tarot reader. I'll go and see my energetic healer. I'll go and see my fucking woo-woo witch doctors because I fucking love it. Do I go all the time? No. I just go when I know that I need. Now, I know that I need to do that because I know myself very well. But in the beginning, when you're like, oh, I don't know if I should just trust myself or I should go to someone else. I don't know if I'm being enabled by other people or whatever it may be. So ego's going bananas. You take the question in. You take the question in. What would be good for me right now? What would serve my highest good right now? Is it, do I just keep doing what I'm doing, or would someone else's guidance, be of service? And if you get the message of someone else's guidance, then ask again for clarity. Is there anything in particular that would serve me right now? Your higher consciousness knows. It knows. Your higher perspective knows what's good for you, but you also know too. Right? The head, the ego just starts fucking with it. So whenever you get confused, you just go back in. You go back in and ask. And this is what I said, you become your trusted counsel and your trusted guide. So anyway, gang, I will leave you now. I will leave you to your Sunday. Thank you, Keza, for asking that question. As I said, I'll do the Q&As closer to Sunday morning live. And And always feel free to DM me, suggest any questions that I can bring up next Sunday. Love you all. Hope you have a fabulous day or night, wherever you are. Take care, gang. Peace be with you.